Hi everyone, Dolly, Stamper Girl here for Cat Scrappiness to introduce you some new holiday die cuts. As part of the Grinchmas collection, we have two new die cuts. One is the Grinch hand with the ornament, and the second one is the Bah Humbug sentiment with the shadow. There are two ways you could work with these die cuts, especially the Grinch hand. One is to cut it out in the colors that you wish them to be, and the other one is to cut them in white, which is what I did. And then I am going to use my Distress Oxide to color them. I think the Twisted Citron with the Mont Lawn and a little bit of the Rustic Wilderness, it's the perfect color combo for these die cuts. I am using the Cat Scrappiness stencil and ink blending brushes. They come in a 5-pack, and I am just starting with the Mowed Lawn and just coloring the outside edges more heavily in the bottom because that's where all the shading would be. And then at this point I decide that it looks great, but it still needs a little bit more of contrast. And by contrast, I need like more difference between the lighter and the darker color. So that's where I'm bringing the Rustic Wilderness, and again hitting those low points and where the arm bends. And this is the look of my Grinch hand. So one of the things that I like about this die cut set is that you could actually just use it the way it is without even using the Santa outfit, or you can cut the parts for the Santa outfit. In this part, I'm going to be using candy apple and lumberjack plaid. Candy apple is this one that I'm using right now. It's a very bright pink red, and has a lot of brightness in terms of a lot of yellow into it. And then the lumberjack plaid is just a deeper red, more like a fire engine red. I love it. Now that I have colored the Grinch hand and the Santa sleeve, this is the second part of the Santa outfit, which is the cuff, which is, think of it of that puffy cuff that Santa always has. I am going to color a second Grinch arm, but to use, and here it is, to use with the Santa sleeve and the cuff. And then I'm going to use, for the second card, I'm going to be using just the arm. Like at the beginning of the movie, he is not wearing the Santa outfit yet. And it's as simple as just putting those two pieces, they interlock. It is perfect and super simple. For the ornament, there's a couple ways that you could do it. You could cut if you think the string is too long for the ornament, or you could leave it as it is. You can put it so it's in the front. You can glue it so it's in the back, the little string. You can cut these ornaments in completely from the glitter paper. You can cut these from white cardstock. You can, what I did here was I had just a little scrap of the glitter paper. This is from the Christmas glitter, and it's also in the winter retreat bundle. And I just pass it through the die cut for the ornament, and then cut some diagonal lines in this. And I am actually going to use some of these diagonals to make a pattern in my ornament. You do not have to go through all of this trouble. I just thought it would be a fun way to use this ornament die cut. I'm putting it back together, and I'm trying to realize, so I'm going to skip one, and then the other ones I could use it here and skip it. And I have two ornaments with stripes. Like it's going to look like a candy cane stripe, and I really love the look. I actually end up doing one of them like this. I'm using whatever is left over from my candy apple and festive berries distress oxide on my cat Scrappiness brush, just so it's not stark white. I decided to, you know what, I want to do a red on red instead of a candy cane look. I am gluing the two little diagonal pieces, and there's one of my ornaments. This also could be, this is my second ornament. Again, just some stripes that I am gluing out. There are two more pieces for the ornament. One of them is the little loop at the top of the ornament where you will thread through the hanger. And the other one is that little piece of metal part in the very vintage ornaments that actually holds the ornament. So here I'm showing you that you could just come with some ink and just color your ornament a solid color, and that's one of the ones that I'm going to use. For the string, I am actually going to end up coloring with a Sharpie. And for the little metal piece, I'm actually using some Adirondack acrylics. There's just some acrylic paints. These ones are metallic. So these ones kind of are like a vintage gold color. I really love these. And I'm using my fingers because these tiny little pieces have some grooves to look like the hanger for a real ornament. So I really want the paint to get into those tiny little grooves. I am putting a little bit of glue onto my finger and using some of the cat Scrappiness tweezers to work this along. And I decided I forgot that I needed to put this little part first, which is the one that you actually thread the string to hold the ornament into the tree. And then I'm going to bring that little piece, and I'm sorry, I am out of focus here, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to use my Barely Arts glue and my second piece of that die cut, and there's my ornament. And like I said, I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other two ornaments. You'll see me do it for at least one more here. And then I'm going to take a black Sharpie and just color the string. A lot of ways that you could actually make these ornaments. Again, you could just cut them out of pattern paper. The Merry Grinchmas paper is a perfect match for this, and they would look adorable. There are some polka dots. There are some great patterns on that 6x6 premium cardstock called Merry Grinchmas, and it's part of this new release. And now here I am going to glue the ornament from the back. And on this first one, if you notice, I am going to glue it so there is you cannot see, it's going to hang a little bit longer and you're not going to see any of the thread at the top of the fingers. But then on this one, I decided, you know what? I want it to have a little bit of that black thread to see through. There it is. The hand of the Grinch. It's just a different look. I think it's just these cards, it's all on the details. And super fast. There you got two of them. Now we're going to be moving to the Bah Humbug sentiment. And I'm using also the shadow. I used the same Twisted Citron, whatever was left on my brush. And then I'm using Lumberjack Plaid to color the sentiment itself, and actually cut a couple of times extra pieces in the white, and I'm not going to bother coloring those, but I am going to glue them over so I have a little bit of an extra dimension. I'm using my little cat Scrappiness pointer just here to get the middles out of these die cuts. And again, putting some glue into my arm, right here in my hand, so I can dab my die cut into it, because I find it so much easier than trying to get like tiny itty bitty pieces of glue, like drops of glue into this sentiment. The sentiment is just perfect. You can see how there also is a little tiny exclamation mark that's what I'm working on right now. I'm gonna put this together again, same technique with the glue, and I am just gonna put, using my Cat Scrappiness tweezers. These are super great because they're reverse tweezers, and what that means is that you only need to press to open the tweezers. They remain closed and holding your item with no effort from you whatsoever. So here's the sentiment. Love how it turned out. Love the color. Perfect for Mr. Grinch and for this Grinchmas card. And now I want to leave you with some samples from some of our creative crew team members.